Actually, it was kind of funny because I did my first like massage subjects. I think it was 95, 96, somewhere like that. And at that time I was 18, and at that stage I realised, an 18-year-old at the industry at that time, it's way more professional now. Was not such a good thing. So I sort of went away and travelled the world and did all that sort of stuff, and eventually came back to it. So no, I was a bit more into my sort of mid to late 20s, I think. And by that time, that was I felt like that was a good age to come into the industry then. So
yeah, that's really interesting. I'd never thought about the logistics of being a young male in an industry back then that still had the connotations of sex worker.
Absolutely, yeah, and that was really the thing. But the difference between, say, the mid '90s and the early noughties, you had private health insurance, and it was way more professional. But just that 5 years, it really changed.
Yeah, wow, it's incredible, isn't it?
I mean, 18-year-old therapists these days, that's very, very normal, and you don't really bat an eyelid. So, back then it was still, a lot of stigma attached to it. Which, thankfully, while there may still be some, that 80, 90, 95% of people have got a very, very positive attitude towards massage therapy. Back then I think there was still a positive attitude, but it was just a bit like, what sort of massage, I suppose there was a bit more of that going on. So,
and I think the terms masseur and masseuse, those terms, then now it's massage therapists. So it's like actress or actor, and now they're all actors. It's taken us from an emotional comment to a tag of an educational profession. I think that's a long way too to help stabilise an industry.
Yeah, it did. Actually, it's funny you mention that, because I was studying sociology, and so I learnt about things like gender pronouns and discourse, and then when they did sort of change to massage therapist, it was probably a thing to sort of remove gender from the title, but it as a byproduct, it actually probably added some extra level of perceived professionalism to it, because all of a sudden you're a therapist, or a practitioner, rather than a masseur, which it means exactly the same thing, but there's just this perception with it that sort of shifted. So it was probably a good thing in the long run, for sure.
Well, I think it was a good thing in that it's moved us from the connotations of sex industry, so it gives a strong delineation between the two, and I think that it keeps, there's a safety guidelines for the people that work within the sex industry, and there's a safety guidelines for people who work in the bodywork remedial therapy.